Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the SU-100Y. It's the Tier 6 premium Soviet tank destroyer. It's located on the south spawn of Kharkov and it's under the command of Vava Das SPG. Game started. Well, it's a rather colourful one, this one, with that skin. Or it's not really a skin actually, it's just a camouflage style. This is a 13cm naval gun mounted on top of a T-100 tank. They actually only built one prototype, but it never got put into production. And, well, it might have been interesting, but the thing is that it's very, very obvious. It's got a huge box around the actual gun itself to protect the crew, but that's a very easy hitbox to penetrate, because there's virtually no armour on it, so even the smallest caliber guns tend to go right through. And we can see that Vava Das SPGs has gone up to the usual tank destroyer corner. As the, was that the aircraft flying overhead? Yes. Oh, there he goes again. I see this aircraft keep flying overhead every now and then. Well, he's aiming through the bushes on the corner, waiting for an enemy tank to turn up. He's capable of doing a lot of damage and he's loaded a lot of AP rounds. 440 Alpha, penetrating 196mm of armour. And that's with the standard AP. No premium AP, but he does have HE rounds capable of doing 580 Alpha, but only penetrating 65mm. Now, when I play this tank destroyer, I normally actually load it up with HE rounds. Now, he actually moved forward, which counteracted the bush mechanic, but because those tanks are so far away, they probably couldn't see him even if they could, even if he did go up to the bush. But the closer they get, the more likely he's going to get spotted, and if this tank destroyer's opposite, they might actually fire at him. Sixth Sense didn't go off, you see, so obviously that Oni was just so far away that he couldn't see him. But the Oni's turret can be penned. Oh no, that one bounced off the side. You can see the green mark it left where it went off. And some enemy tanks have turned up on the other avenue. Now these guys are more than likely going to see him, but they're going to get obliterated if they're penned. In fact, I think the tank that penned there was the Death Toaster to the left of us. He got an 88mm round into that target. The Death Toaster is actually quite a good tank destroyer in my book. I rather like that tank destroyer. I managed to win a battle recently with that one, and I did a huge amount of damage. Got the high caliber and everything, because the 88mm gun is very underestimated. It is, after all, very close to a 90mm with about 230 alpha, but well, this one has got very, very high alpha because it's basically a tier 8 gun on a tier 6 tank destroyer. But Vava Das SPGs is headed for the cap because he could see these enemy tanks. Oh, he just took the Cromwell out just like that, and the Cromwell never even saw him. Yes, he came back to the cap because his minimap showed him that the enemy were assaulting this cap area, and if he didn't come back to defend it, they were going to take it. Well, I don't think it's that urgent, because I think they will defend it. And then we've got an AMX CLC. Fires blind. That one looks as if it went right over the top of the LC. That's the problem with this gun. Accuracy leaves a little to be desired. At closer range, it's actually quite devastating. And of course the ELC has got very, very good camo. He's probably up there, but you just can't see him at the moment. Yeah, there he is. Oh, that's better. Yeah, the armour on the ELC is absolutely terrible. And that's the end of his game. So he's got 2 kills now. Now, there was a P43 Biz, the Italian Tier 6 medium, somewhere in the vicinity. Got 25 TP up amongst those buildings. Our Crusaders nearby, just shy of the cap. Not anymore, he's dead. Probably got seen and the GW Panther on the enemy team lined him up for a shot. And here comes the P-43. It was probably him who was spotting. Oh, one shot him. 445, and there's an M10 RBFM out there as well. Just tried a pot shot, but I think he hit the tracks instead of actually hitting somewhere that could be penned. Now, I think what Vava SPGs is doing right now is quite wise. He's deciding to move away from that position because he is vulnerable. As I said, the casement is very, very thin armour, and virtually no armour actually. So he's probably better off moving away just in case that M10 comes looking for him. And considering his 3 tanks down at the moment, it might be a good idea for him to set up an ambush on a few of these enemy tanks. And maybe that T-29. He might be able to take that guy out with one shot. How many hit points has he got left? I don't think he can take him out with one shot, but he could probably badly wound him. And there goes the Type T-34. There are only 2 down now. Looks to me like he's going to try and get himself into a position where he can have a go at that T-29. Fires through the hut, but there's a building in the way, so yeah, that's not going to help. It's that grey building just up ahead, so he needs to move again to get a better angle. Okay, he's got that bush between him and the enemy, and there they are. So let's see if he can get him. Yes! Excellent shot. The Oni had, or rather the T-29 had been reduced to enough hit points so he could be taken out with 1 round. And now he's going to try and do the same to the Oni, but the thing is, the Oni's managed to put himself behind the wreck. He went for the turret, didn't get it. Now this might be a moment when the HE round would be helpful, but he was spotted and he's just bounced around from a T-67. Put himself in the corner. The T-67 is just around the edge. Now he was spotted again the moment he came round. And an enemy is capping, and oh, that's the enemy Arty that landed one right in front of him for 151. The M10's found him. He's dialing in as quickly as he can. The M10 must know he's here, and no, he didn't. Oh dear, poor M10. I don't know why he sat there thinking he could get away with it, but I think he may have been trying to aim at the KV-3, but just didn't realise the SU-100Y or box tank was nearby. But the enemy Arty knows he's here, and they keep firing in at this position. It looks like the T-67's driven away, and the Oni, well, I have the feeling he's still trying to get at that KV-3. So Vava does SPG. Yes, they're still firing at that corner, but he's moved away now. Now, they might spot these fences being knocked down and realise that he's pulled away. Oh, now's the enemy box tanks turned up. Now that, I think, is a destructible hut. He missed an opportunity to get a shot there, but I think he'll get it here. Sitting on that corner. This is where the reload becomes a bit of a problem because it's 13.81 seconds. It's a very long reload indeed. Well, getting closer will definitely help. We can see now that the box tank wasn't behind that building. If he had fired, it would have given away his position, and somebody spotted him. It's the box tank, and he went round the other side, and that's a truck that was in the way. The first shot bounced off the side of the SU-100Y, so they're both in reload, but the box tank on the enemy team gets taken out by our KV-3. So now we need to reciprocate the gesture and take out that Oni who's threatening the KV-3. He's just holding there for a second, knocking the building down as he turns around. And there's the RT rounds that he was expecting. They tried to get him, but they missed. But he really does need to help the KV-3 take out that Oni. Can he do it from a distance? It doesn't look as if he can. Oh, he might be able to. Yes, he did! And that is a Top Gun. There's now only 3 enemies left. 2 on his side. The KV-3 and him. You know, potentially he might actually end up with a Radleys if he can kill this T-67. Or if the KV-3 can get him, then they could go after the Radleys. The enemy's capping. That's the Arty. They've obviously come south. There goes the T-67. And now Vava des SPGs is the closest one to the enemy cap. And they're not going to see him until he gets to about 250 meters away. He can see them now. They know they've been spotted. Their sixth sense will be going off. And there goes one of them. And they've stopped capping. So I suspect that the GW Panther is still somewhere up the other end. Oh, it'd be very nice if he could get that GW Panther. 7 kills, potential to get a Radleys if he gets 10. I'd be tempted to stay out in the open now, not to go down into that trench, that pathway that goes all the way up to the other end, because yeah, if he goes up there, he won't see the enemy as he's driving in that direction. I think the GW might be somewhere over here. They've only got 3 minutes and 35 seconds left on the clock, so they ideally do need to find that enemy fairly quickly. KV-3's headed for the cap as quickly as he can. He can start the cap, but it'd be really nice for Vava des SPGs. He's found him! Oh, he did come south, and he went along the trench, so if he had gone along the trench, against my advice, then he would have actually got the kill, because he would have found the GW. Instead, what he's decided to do is go to the trees, and the GW Panther knows he's been seen. His sixth sense went off, but he can't see where the target is. Can't see the box tank, even though it's so big. I have the feeling it would be a good idea for him. He's saying to the KV-3, go cap. He's asking the guy to go cap. It will force the GW Panther to turn around and head back, unless he's... Oh, he's very silly. And that's the end of the game. And that's a Radley Walters. He should have turned around and headed back towards his own cap, but he didn't. And as a consequence, he paid the price for his mistake. So that's the end of the first replay featuring the SU-100Y. Let's have a look at the second game and see how that player gets on. And the second replay is on Lakeville, and it's under the command of SpybotAF. Well, I think you can see 2 marks on the barrel. Spybot has played his box tank quite a lot. Well, he's going to town, and I think he's going to have some teammates going with him. Looks like so. In fact, even an Arty has decided to move down to this position, which means he's probably going to go after the lake road, or at least try and attack any tank that comes along it. Now, I suspect that Spybot will probably turn off here and then try and get shots on this MT-25, who's decided to spot on the centre line. Let's it dial in. Oh, beautiful! Isn't that epic? Always nice to see a little scout who thinks he can cheekily go to the spotting point, and he gets wiped out immediately with a big, large caliber shell. I think he sensed that something was up because he was pulling back into cover, but it was just too late, and Spybot got the shot. I probably would have fired prematurely when I could see he was trying to get back, and that shell might have missed the target, but Spybot calmly waited until it was tightly around the target, then let loose and saw the guy die. So he's got the first kill for his team, but it probably won't be his last. I wouldn't be surprised if an enemy tank tries to go to the centre as well. It's a tier 8 game, so he's bottom tier in a tier 8. But as I said before, He's got a tier 8 gun on a tier 6 tank destroyer. Oh look, there's the T-52 minus most of his hit points. I suspect that he went up the valley and it unfortunately didn't work out too well for him. And some rather bad news though is that the enemy are now starting to flood through the valley. A lot of them. So our team in the town needs to push and push hard, because if they don't, then they're going to have to turn around and come back again to try and defend their cap. We do have a few teammates up near the cap, but they're going to have to spot for us whilst the Spybot takes out these enemy tanks one by one. Yeah, I'd aim for just to the left there for that T-34 to come around the corner. Looks to me like he's going to do that any second. And it's not him, it's a T-103. And he takes a nice hit for 467 just as SU-130PM goes through the frame. T-29's turned up. We're just waiting for the reload to complete. And lower plate! 418 hit points. The T-29's probably regretting doing what he did. We've got a KV-3, been a fairly open position, but he's trying to hug the rocks. Get the... Yep, nice. Oh, right through the centre of the front plate. So he's out the game. That's the second kill. T-29 will be dead if this goes through the side of the turret. Line it up. That looks good. It didn't go through. Okay, so he's got no premium ammunition, Spybot. He believes in playing the game without premium. And I agree with him, actually. You can play the game without premium. I tried to stay on standard ammo most of the time, but... Oh, no, he's just showing part of his hull, not all of it. I think he aimed at the part of the hull which was actually hidden. But the enemy can't see him at the moment, so he can carry on firing at them. Just see the top of the IS-6. Sometimes that's all you need, just the top of the tank to take them out. Then needs the time I fired a pixel shot just at the top of the turret and blown the entire tank to pieces. 348, that's a good shot, and the VK goes down, taken out by the SU-130PM. He's got somebody rubbing up amongst us. The enemy Arty's turned up as well, would you believe that? The enemy Arty's come south to try and help with the cap, but I think he's made a bit of a blunder there as well, because there's a good chance that he won't be able to help them from that position. Here comes the AMX-1357. Nice shot. One shot to kill. 3 kills now. It's a fairly lightly armoured light tank, the AMX-1357. I think he wasted his moment. IS-6 is hiding behind our TS-5. We can't get a shot on the the IS-6 rather. In fact, we can't see the enemy now because they are fairly well hidden. But something that Spybot's noticed is there's an E75TS coming in from the town towards us. Although now he's suddenly turned around and is headed back because so many of his teammates died in the valley. And in fact, actually now they've lost all the tanks in the valley bar the M12, who won't last very long up against the TS5. So I rather suspect that the M12 is a goner. Yes, he's just died. So there's only 2 enemies left, an SU-130PM, and he's there. Hello. Takes a big hit for 417, but we took a hit for 513, so Spybot is fairly light on hit points now, but he's got enough. The problem was the SU-130PM has got a 13cm gun as well, and he easily got through the hull of a box tank. In fact, I rather suspect that he probably put that shell through the top of the tank. Can't see the entry point. Oh, it was actually through the gun. Not sure how a shot through the gun would actually benefit, but the SU-130PM on our team has now died. But there's only one enemy left. It's the E75TS. He fires one in, gets a hit, but tries to pull back and he can't do it in time. But the E75TS is now one shot, and so he won't last very long. And it looks like the VK is going to get the honours, or is it the... Yes, it is the VK, but the other VK, the 3001D, took the honours and shot one up the rear of the E75. And here is the third replay, and this one is on Mountain Pass. And again, it's SpybotAF. Okay, game started. Well, it looks like he's going onto the ice road, because yes, he's leaving the cat behind and headed off down to the valley. Now he does have company because he's got a T40 with him, and he's top tier in this game, but there are tier 4 tanks in it, so some of those enemy tier 4s are likely to get wiped out with just one round. Yes, because the Alpha, if you remember, as I said before, 440, it's a 13cm naval gun mounted on a T100 hull. And it's a pity this thing never got put into production, because it would have been quite amusing to see how it would have been used, probably as an assault gun rather than as an actual tank destroyer, because it's a bit visible. The casement's very, very big indeed. This is one of the vulnerabilities of this vehicle, especially if the enemy tank happens to have quite a fast firing gun. You can end up getting fairly badly damaged in the casement area. Now it looks like Arty is also aiming in that direction. In fact, the Arty's behind us, and that's a Fifi, a 105 FH18B2, which is a bit surprising that a Fifi's come this far down the ice road, but he must feel fairly confident that he's got a huge TD in front of him. Now we do see that Skoda T24 made it on the bridge road, and it's gone round the corner, so there's probably not somebody... Oh, now! Hellcat. And a big hit! 510, that Hellcat's regretting that dash across the bottom, and, well, Spybot took a round from a P2640, but it didn't pen, I suspect. Yes, it was an armour-penetrating shot. Here comes the Hellcat, and that was a big mistake. But he did get 190mm round into Spybot. And he is taking fire from the P26. In fact, that was fire from an enemy Fifi. Now I think that guy was back at the enemy cap area. But the P2640, yeah, that's what I said would happen. If he came up against the tier 4 tank, one shot would be enough to take them out. The Skoda decided to come back to the bridge road, but he can't kill Spybot if he's actually below his gun depression, but he can hit the VK2801, and the VK goes down to a shot from the T28. Now the IKV-103 is trying to get involved, but he only hit the tracks this time. Now, just raises his gun. He has got enough gun elevation. If those guys come forward, and I think he just blocked a shot from a 103. If I remember correctly, that's a 105mm. He just pokes his head above, and that's all he needs, and he's out the game as well. That's another tank completely wiped out with one shot. Say, tier 8 game, tier 8 gun rather, on a tier 6 tank destroyer, and that shell that landed just in front of him was probably from the enemy cap. Now, as he's going to cross, and there's nobody behind him, the Skoda is still hiding, but he might try to shoot him in the ass as Spybot moves up further up the ice road. Oh no, he can't, because he's just got killed by our AMX 12 ton. Okay, so he's now on the ice road. The enemy can't interfere with him. In fact, I think they're about to lose their Panzer 38NA, potentially their SU-85B as well. Yep, there goes the 38NA. Unless that SU-85B has run away, and I think he might have actually, because he's not there. They can't see him. And we've got a Hellcat up again ahead of us. T40 and the T28 have both spotted him. And unfortunately, he's just taken out our T-28, or rather, no, an SU-85B did. So he did move from that position on the bridge road, and he's now defending their cap. So here we go. This is where it gets interesting. There's the Hellcat. He had to fire early, but the SU-85B fired an 85mm round in, and I know only too well how good the SU-85B is because it's got a fast reload, and it will do approximately the damage of the T-3485. It's about 160 hit points rather than 180, but I'm afraid that at this moment Spybot can't afford to lose any hit points because he's down to 177. So the best thing he can do is wait for the rest of his team to come in behind the SU-85, keep him occupied, whilst he then moves up to a position where he can get a shot. Okay, he's now going to go and move. Yep, they will be spotting that SU-85 momentarily. They found him. Okay, now Spybot... Oh, they don't need to worry because Spybot doesn't need to worry. They've killed him. But there's still 3 enemies out there, including an M37, an M5 Stuart, and a KV-1S. Now, I would hazard a guess that I think both of those tanks are on their way back to this cap, mainly because obviously they've started capping. And it looks to me like Spybot is actually going to take up position, an ambush position, rather than actually go in the cap. Oh no, he's decided he's going to go in the cap after all. And there's the M5 Stuart. And he bounces around from the Stuart, but took a round in the tracks, which reset the cap. Potentially now he's got a steel wall if he can survive the game. He's got the backup of a VK. And he's going for it straight away. The M5 Stuart is having to back away himself. He's not turned around and run off, or has he now? I think he has now, yeah. The VK's going after him. No, I think that M5 Stuart came back to try and get the reset to get himself a nice little defender medal. And now SpybotAF is moving backwards into the cap area, waiting for that KV-1S to arrive. Well, he's decided he's not going to cap because the KV-1S has turned up on the bridge road. Very unusual. There he is. Oh! Auto-aim's on, takes the shot, blows him away. At least I think that was an auto-aim. Certainly looked like it to me. And that means the M5 Stuart is now the only one remaining. And so he's just going to head back into the cap. Potentially he managed to get the high caliber at that point. It's got a tick against his name. 5 kills. If he can get the last one, he will get the Top Gun. And I kind of had the feeling the M5 Stuart might be doubling back and coming around. And yes, he is. That's exactly what he's doing. And oh, the M5 Stuart at this point should be turning around and trying to run away, but instead he's actually coming on in, which is just going to result in a quicker end to this game. Yeah, he's still trying to penetrate Spybot's casement. Hello. Oh, he fluffed that shot. He fired too soon. The shell went above the M5 Stuart, who gets another try, and oh, almost got him because he's now down to 12 hit points. You have to make this one count, Spybot. You've got nothing left to play with. Don't muck it up. Oh, yes, right through the turret. And that is a Top Gun, and that wins the game. With only 12 hit points left, he won that game. Now, let's have a look at the end of battle results from the first battle, and then we'll go to the other ones. Well, the first battle on Kharkov with Vava Das SPGs, he managed to get an ace tanker, a bruiser, a duelist, a fire for effect, and out of the epic medals, he managed to get a Radley Waters for getting at least 8 kills. Remember that GW Panther who thought it was a good idea to go and cap at the other end after we were capping at the other. And he also got a Pescucci's medal for getting 2 enemy SPGs in the game. He got the M44 and the GW Panther, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills, and he ended up with 8. If we look at the team score, we can see he was easily at top with 2,263, the next highest being the Oni on the enemy team, 1,707. When it came to kills, he was the highest with 8, the next highest scorer being the KV3 on his team, the other guy who went to cap. He got 3 kills. And when it came to base XP, he was the only one to get over 1,000 with 1,212. 857 went to the Type T34 and 799 went to the KV3. He fired 17 rounds, got 12 direct hits, 8 penetrations, damage of 2,263 hit points, of which 1,098 were up more than 300 meters, and he received 4 hits, 3 non-penetrations, and 6 hits by way of splash damage as well. He earned 61,502 credits on a premium account and 2,908 credits on XP. So a pretty good game for a Radleys for Vava Das SBGs. Let's have a look at the second battle results and see how Spybot managed to get on. Well, in the Lakeville one, that was also an ace tanker in the box tank. He managed to get a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage. He also got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, and a tank sniper for doing the most damage at a range of at least 300 meters. And his win rate from that game was 9,134, very high, super unicum standard. And if we look at team score, we can see that 3,285 hit points of damage in this one, a lot more than the previous battle. And he also, the next highest scorer was that E75TS, the one right at the end who killed him, 2,512 hit points of damage to him, and then 2,337 to the TS5 who ended the game. Or rather, did he end the game? No, it was the VK3001D that ended the game. The TS5 was the one stuck in the valley. He got a steel wall. The Lorraine managed to get a Confederate and survived. And of course, that VK3001D got the last kill of the game. If we look at the number of kills, we can see that it was TS5 did the best with 5 kills. SpybotAF got 3 kills, as well as the E75TS and the SU-100Y. And when it came to base XP, it was Spybot with 1,335, 1,149 went to the TS5. Those are the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000. The Lorraine managed 820. Spybot fired 10 rounds in this game, 9 direct hits, 8 penetrations, so fairly good accuracy and good pen as well, even though he was using standard AP. 3,285 hit points of damage, 2,446 of that was at more than 300 meters. Remember, he was firing only standard ammo. He didn't have any premium ammo loaded, and the same was true with other DUS SPG. On this game, he earned 79,868 credits profit from the game, and after he also picked up 2 bonds for some reason, as well as 8,612 XP because he got a mission completion of 4,006 XP. So a very good game there for SpybotAF in the box tank, and he says box tank still got it. Let's have a look at the third and last battle. That was the one on Mountain Pass, the indestructible box tank. Yes, he took a lot of damage from the enemy when he went into that area of the ice road near the bridge, where they were firing down on him and getting penetrations. Of course, he lost a lot of hit points to that Hellcat. Managed to get 1 round into him, and yes, that took away half his hit points, and then obviously the other one started penning him as well. He got an ace tanker in that one, a shell-proof, duelist, fire for effect, and a hand of God. Out of the other medals, he picked up a Spartan for having a ricochet when he had less than 5% of his hit points left. That was the shells from the M5 Stuart right at the end. And he also had a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. The Stuart was the last and final 6th kill. And he also got a steel wall for blocking the most damage in the game. Not as much on the win rate this time, 6,530, but he did survive the battle just by, and almost lost all of his hit points to that M5 Stuart, who was very brave to try and come back and take on a box tank when that gun can do an awful lot of damage very, very quickly. If we look at the team score on this one, you can see 2,061 hit points of damage. Nobody else got over 1,000 except for the AMX 12 ton on his team with 1,110. And when it came to kills, again he's got the top with 6, 3 kills to the KV-1S, 2 kills to the AMX 12 ton, the Lux and the Stug 3G. And when it came to base XP, he was the only player over 1,000 with 1,139. If we look at the detail, we can see he fired 10 rounds in this one, This time round he got 8 direct hits and 8 penetrations. What spoiled it at the end was 2 shots he fired at the M5 Stuart, which missed altogether. Once when he went up the rise and the shell flew right over the top of the M5 Stuart, and the second one, well, again he fluffed it up. He was trying to get the guys, he popped up over and instead hit the wall the opposite side, but he didn't miss with the third shot. He got him directly and ended the game. 2,061 hit points, all of it at close range. He received 19 hits from the enemy in this one, 7 of them penetrated and 12 non-penetrations on 1 hit by way of splash damage. Now, as I said, the worst shot was that Hellcat because it was one big hit just as he poked around the corner. Obviously, he killed the Hellcat the next moment, but he didn't need to lose that many hit points so quickly. And unfortunately that sort of like made it very difficult for him towards the end of the game. He blocked damage of 1,440 hit points, so you can see he did block a lot of damage in that game as well. He earned 54,473 credits from this game on a premium count, got 28 bonds for mission completion and 3,930 experience points, including getting 1,500 free XP for completing a mission. So yes, he was very lucky to survive in that last game, mainly because that Stuart was actually defending himself very, very well indeed and keeping mobile to try and stop the box tank from nailing him. But well done to the Spybot that he actually stayed alive until the end and obviously managed to get that steel wall to go with the Spartan. If you enjoyed those replays, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm.
You can do it. Feed me, see more.
And thanks for watching.